Hello everybody, welcome back to the Philippines. We're giving an update on our construction. This is day number 3 since the skilled people, supposedly skilled people that don't have tools, showed up here to work doing the rebar cages and pouring concrete into the footers and doing some other stuff. And a few weeks ago, a buddy of mine said, "Aren't you scared somebody might wander onto your property and fall into one of these big holes?" And I said, "Well, that's on them if they do, right?" So he said, "You know, if somebody gets drunk and just wanders in, they may fall into one of them big holes, and the holes are 5 foot by 5 foot by 5 foot." So I said, "Well, I guess if they fall in, they'll probably stay in there." So it happened. Somebody fell into the hole. It was dark and everything's slippery out here, and some of the areas between the holes isn't very big, and somebody had something in both of their hands walking through like every other day, and he fell into the damn hole, the dumbass. So today's the first day that I can walk after falling mostly into the hole, but my right leg and most of my body went into the hole, which is right here that I went into. I was walking through here, which is very narrow, and the ground gave way. So my right side went in, and my left side stayed up and got stuck. So this is my leg and my knee. This all stayed up on the top of the ground, and the rest of my body went in and bent my leg the wrong way. It was a loud pop. So 2 days of not being able to move and laying in bed, and as you can see, there's a little scratch there and all kinds of scratches down here on my foot, but luckily I didn't injure myself too bad. I can still use most of my body. I could have fell in there on them rocks and banged my head. I could have broken an arm, could have broke a leg, so I feel pretty fortunate. The only bad thing here in the Philippines is you can't find crutches. So I've been using a 4-foot level as my crutch to get around wherever I got to go, because we cannot find crutches anywhere, and we keep asking and nobody says, "They're what? They're what? What's it for? What's it called?" No, we don't have that. So after 3 days, we got, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4 cages in the ground, 4 footers poured, and the cage is standing. And there's 2 more holes that are soon ready to go. Just have to wait on tomorrow. Maybe they'll put 2 more in tomorrow or more, because they have another 4 cages left already made up, ready to go. And I think 4 more, we call it the wire mesh or whatever, for the footers. And we got the cement mixer here. We got a pile of sand, pile of stone, pile of cement. They're making a big mess out into the road. Everybody drives through the water now of the cement. I got to park my truck down the street because I can't get it in where I normally park it. I'm going to try and walk out past here, see if I can fall and bust my head. Yeah. And there they have the forms made for the concrete, for the post. Which most of this plywood I had to cut because they don't have circular saws here. So I told them just to measure everything and put marks, and I would cut it for them. Because imagine trying to cut 3/4 inch plywood, rip it lengthwise with a damn handsaw. But that's what they're used to here. So one night when they were going, I set everything up and cut all the plywood for them, ripped it down to length. I can't imagine cutting out with a handsaw. That freaking takes you forever. So, and I think sometimes that's the way they like to do things. Take longer to stretch the job out, you know? Which that pisses me off. Had the same thing today. Somebody trying to bust up concrete with a hammer and a nail instead of using a jackhammer. It doesn't go over so good with me, you know? I bought 3 jackhammers that are usable. Use the damn things, not using a hammer and a nail. So Now I gotta go and try and cut some rebar, so maybe tomorrow they can put in another post, since there was a piece of our terrace in the way of our post. So that's the piece of concrete and rebar that I gotta cut out of the way, and that's the one somebody was using a hammer and a nail to cut the concrete with, instead of using the damn jackhammer, which, like I say, I don't understand it, and I let that person know how I felt about doing that too, because I buy this stuff to use, not to sit there and look pretty. So then they want to use my grinder to cut that off, and I said, no, I'll get it later, don't worry about it. So cut that off, and hopefully tomorrow they can put a post in there where it's supposed to be, because when we built this terrace, it was originally supposed to only have a curb on the front of it, and somehow in the translation got messed up, and our terrace got a curve on both sides and the front, which wasn't supposed to be. Only the front was supposed to have the arch, but both sides got it too, so now that's costing us time and money to get rid of that arch.
Yeah.
And it cost us a lot of time and money to put the arch on originally, with all the extra forming up and the plywood and the rebar. So now I get to cut it off and remove it. I always hate paying double and triple for something like that. So these are our posts for the columns, or steel posts. This is 16 mm rebar. There's 8 pieces of it, and then it's the loops are made out of 10 mm rebar, but there's a small 4-post cage inside of the larger 4-post cage to make it a lot stronger. Takes a lot more time, I'm sure, but it's a lot stronger. And I don't know the reasoning behind it, but the old post used to be 400 millimeters by 400 millimeters, and now the newer construction posts are 200 millimeters by 400 millimeters. And I'm not sure the reasoning behind it. Maybe it's so you don't see the post anymore after they lay the hollow block wall, but and I mean, I don't know any other reason why they do it like that. So hopefully in a couple more days there'll be a little more progress. We can start filling in these holes so people don't fall into them.
At least red and shadow doesn't fall into that one.
Yeah, they just come out and step in the concrete. Not good for their paws. So that's it for day 3 of building here in the Philippines. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.